How long have you guys been playing together?
I guess we started in 2009, right? It's funny how you lose track of time.
Yeah.
First question, I'm not sure.
A long time.
Where'd y'all meet? Or how did you meet?
Asheville, North Carolina. We were both busking, and it was pouring down raining. And we walked past each other and started talking, and we had this weird connection, I guess, but we also had sort of known each other through people in a different state, which was weird.
Yeah.
And pay for your coffee, by the way. You need to pay for your coffee first. Do that. And then we sat down and we started singing together because we got our instruments out, and it was like perfect harmony. Naturally, it was just so weird. Our voices just blended. And so we got married after that. And
yeah, it was really weird because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, we just saw each other and we're two total strangers. We ended up to have some mutual friends and acquaintances in Jacksonville, but it was just weird. It was like a weird fate moment type thing.
Had you spent time in Jacksonville before?
I grew up in a tiny shit splat town on the Georgia-Florida border. So I mean I'd come in and out of town. My dad had a construction company here, but I never actually lived here. So
she was living in Johnson City
when we met. Yeah, it was weird.
Where's Johnson City? Is that in Carolina?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Wagon Wheel.
Oh yeah.
It's okay.
Tell me about the show that's coming up.
It's July the 8th, which is a Monday night at Borough Bar, and it's with a touring band that's going to be coming through on their Southeast tour. They're called the North and South Dakotas. And we have a little break right now. It's going to be our first real show in about a month, so we're excited. We are working on a few new songs, so it's going to be the first time in a while that we're going to be debuting some new material, which we're really excited about. And we're actually going to be joining them for 2 dates on the road,
South Carolina.
in Charleston and Columbia. So it's kind of the kickoff of us trying to, expand a little bit and kind of gain a little bit wider audience, more regionally. So we're excited about it, and it's kind of just like a starting point.
It's our
kind of
first
a new
time as a band out of state.
Yeah, and we've got all the guys on board for both of the dates, so we hope to do more shows. Obviously in Jacksonville, and then a lot more regionally.
Tell me about the other members of the band.
Well, we have Pete Mosley, who is backup vocals and upright bass, and he joined the band almost a year ago. He joined last July, and he's been a really great addition. He's brought a lot to kind of the arrangements and stuff like that, and great support. And he's a composition student at JU. He was in Yellow Card and Inspection 12, but he just had his first solo show where he did composed string parts for some original songs. So we are really happy to have him on board. And then we have Philip Pan plays violin, who's the concert master of the symphony, and we were just so excited that he was interested in our music, and he's been really, really supportive. I guess Philip's, it's close to going on 2 years that he's been playing with us consistently. And I remember after he played the first several shows with us, we were in practice one day, and he was like, "So am I officially at Canary now?" And we were we were really stoked about that. So Philip's a great guy to have on board. And then Arvid, of the guys that are playing with us now, he's been with us the longest. And kind of from the beginning, we first started playing, when Sandy moved up here, we were doing, I used to run an open mic night up at the Loft, and we would just kind of, try out new material and play songs. And Arvid just really started to sit in with us a lot. And the band was really in its formative stages at that point. and he really just became a part of things really early on and has stayed on board as things have kind of developed and evolved. And so, and Arvid's, played for years. I mean, over 30 years he's been in the music scene and the festival scene and Tamerlane and all that, all that.
How would you describe Canary in the Coalmine to someone that hasn't heard them?
What was that?
How would you describe the band to someone that hasn't heard them?
That's always a $1 million
that's-
question.
yeah.
Well, we stick with, the basic description Americana, which basically I feel like it encompasses like American roots music. And I think there are like a lot of different aspects of that. One thing that always comes to mind when I think of how to answer that question is, I don't know, we grew up, in church. We grew up on like Southern gospel music. So, I mean, just the harmonies and feel of that, like that's a definite influence, but it's just kind of a small aspect of it. It's driven by like, country.
Thank you.
Country western, kind of a bluegrass feel. But also,
I think we're good. Thank you so much.
but also there's a little bit of a soul element to it as well. And so it's kind of eclectic. It's Americana with a twist and a weird, like eerily hopeful darkness to it.
How does playing with each other improve you as musicians?
Oh, we've never gotten that one. Yikes. I mean, I don't know about you, but me, it's like a complete change because when we met, I was a baby and I'd been playing guitar for maybe a year and singing in Tennessee, and then I met Jessica and I stuck to like strict like folk music, like country. And then I met Jessica and I got exposed to stuff I'd never been exposed to, like Rufus Wainwright and Leonard Cohen. I had no idea who they were. And so yeah, it's a complete transformation.
Yeah.
I don't know if I exposed you to more country or not.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you write music with a person, it's a really difficult like dynamic to be able to establish and be comfortable with, and that's something that just came like really naturally for me and Sandy, like right from the get-go. So that was like the foundation. It's just like the creativity. And Sandy, like while you didn't have like a huge amount of experience like with your instrument, you had like Sandy just has a really amazing natural talent and just like creativity in her songwriting that just is really unique. And so to be able to collaborate with somebody in that way, and you're coming from totally different perspectives and different experiences, but you're meeting in the middle and sharing this experience of creating this song. I think that when you have that experience with somebody, it kind of changes the way that you perform and write and look at music forever. And so,
yeah, we definitely, I guess, match up on what each other, we lack.
It's, there's challenges, especially when you're used to, like, writing and performing on your own. You're, collaborating with somebody, so, it's just totally different.
We always say, like, anything that we write by ourselves is good, but what we write together is, like, infinitely better. And you can tell, you can hear people's favorite songs are the ones that have been co-written, like Leaving Tonight,
So yeah. How many songs have you guys written together so far?
It's hard to say. I mean,
a
I'd
lot.
say between like 10 and 15.
Maybe
I mean,
total.
that are like completed songs, but there
Right.
are a lot of like sketches of songs. I mean, tons of sketches of songs that we've worked on and have like, grab our phones and record really quick to remember for later. And then, the question then is like finding the time to get back to them.
Pick up 8 months later and start working on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the recording, the new songs you sent me.
Those are, we just completed like the mastering on the album that we've been working on, for over a year now. It's produced by Matt Grondin out of Parlor Studios in New Orleans. And he, brought just this amazing element to the album and the songs. And, we were really excited to work with him, and, we're looking forward to being able to release it, and we're hoping, we're still kind of getting all our ducks in a row as far as that goes, but we're hoping within the next few months we'll have a release of, the full-length album.
How do you spell that guy's name?
Grondin, Grondin. DIN.
Okay. Do you remember the first song you two wrote together?
Black Hole.
Yeah. It's called Black Hole.
Yeah. Jessica had a ukulele when whenever we met. She and Sarah G stayed with me in my apartment in Tennessee, and she had a ukulele, and I'd never played one, and so we were riding around in the View, and I was playing with the ukulele and found the chords for it. And we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And 2 months later, when I moved down here with Jessica, we were over at Coffee and Spice, and we pretty much finished the song over at Coffee and Spice when it was still there. Is that what it was called, Coffee and Spice?
Yeah, Coffee and Spice.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so that's where we finished it. So it was kind of a 2-3 month process to finish that song.
What kind of stuff have you been listening to these days? Local groups and other groups that you're enjoying? You're not working on your own stuff.
Well, local groups, we love Grandpa's Cough Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We really enjoy watching them play. They're amazing.
Love Four Families.
Four Families. Robin is amazing. Antique Animals.
They're great.
So there's a lot going on right now in the Jacksonville local music scene that we're happy to be a part of.
Absolutely.
As far as just other things we listen to, I don't know. Like I've gone through phases recently. Like I listened to like a lot more like some older country, like and some like Emmylou Harris and things like that. Like but I always fall back to like my favorites, which are Leonard Cohen, Rufus Wainwright, which have been like really big influences lyrically. Josh Ritter is a huge influence for us, even though it's pretty different than our style of music. Just like the essence, I think that those songwriters capture like in that moment.
Right.
It's the same basic, I guess like motivation for me. Like that's like how I want to look at songwriting.
What kind of tell me about some of the venues that you've played over the years.
Well, we play Underbelly a lot, which we love. It's a great setup over there. We really enjoy performing there. Mojo Kitchen is one of like the best sounding venues in town.
Yeah.
So we enjoy performing there as well. I mean, we've
done Freebird and Jackrabbits and Grove Bar.
I think that two performances that like currently we look forward to the most every year are Springfest and Magfest. It's a great just like network of people out there, and we played both festivals 2 years. We're going on our 3rd year, so we always have a blast doing that. It's just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get good response out there?
Oh yeah.
We do, yeah. I think we get a little more surprised with every performance. We have a really good response, and a lot of people that catch us at the festivals, follow us after that and stay kind of linked in that way. And so that's great to be able to see that.
Do you have other gigs planned for July, August? What about?
We have some things in the works.
Right.
We might have something big and exciting happening. It's a surprise.
Excellent. All right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they are. We like sweet potato fries.
Oh, they're
Oh,
fantastic.
that sounds really good.
How's that one,
Yeah, go ahead. You sounded so hip. We like sweet potato fries.
I'll think of some more questions in a moment.
Sure. We'll snack while you do.
Do you have a favorite gig that you've ever played? If you could think of one. Do you remember?
That's hard.
Or can you think of a gig where, or that and like a gig where like you really first started to feel the sound just coming together the way it is now? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
The
definitely.
Ducks was fun.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, the first time, the Duck show was a lot of fun, and a lot of that was just the energy of the crowd, and I think, the more comfortable we are with our setup and material and everything, the more we can really kind of tap into that crowd energy, and that makes a big difference between just like basically essentially reciting something and regurgitating something and really being in the moment and experiencing it. And I think that's that was definitely a time that stands out for us. And then MagFest, I mean, the first time we played MagFest, we were able to have Mark Radabaugh from Donna the Buffalo, who played drums on our album. He sat in with us, and we had Matt. Like, we were able to do like all the parts that were on the album, and so to like hear that product come to life in a live setting, that's hopefully like what we want to work towards being able to do more. But that was probably our most exciting, like fulfilling performance so far.
It was great.
What's the hardest part of performing for you? Since you've both been doing it for a while.
What she just said. Just tapping into the energy of the audience to make sure that like they're getting the best performance you can give, and you're giving the best performance you can give, and you're not being mundane and showing them the same thing that they saw last month.
There are so many things that you can start to just like stress out about during a performance, from like the sound to the setup to like whatever like uncontrolled variables. And for me, it's like the challenge of like being there and like being in that moment and having that experience that you have when you're writing songs, when you're practicing, and like recreating that on stage, because that's the ultimate goal. And sometimes you just have to really challenge yourself to put yourself into that like space,
You're both very stylish ladies. How do aesthetics play a role in your performance? Like when you're
Well, I imagine if we had to wear pajamas up there, we wouldn't be as happy. But maybe. I mean, we do put some thought into it, I guess.
Some people think about it more than they think about the music. Others think entirely about the music and give.
I don't think it's never.
We went through. I mean, just to be totally honest, I think we went through. I mean, you always think about that, like your image on stage, and that's important, and like how you feel is going to be affected by that. But I think, like for me, like recently, I mean, of course, like you want to look the part, but we've really like kind of backed off on that, like more recently, because I don't know, to the whole like female singer songwriter versus like guys, and like that's a whole other discussion. But like
didn't want to be like super costumey and too what's the word for it?
Like I think
like that's what we're expected to look like, so maybe we should.
There's something in like a girl sometimes where you like have this idea of yourself like on stage in an evening gown, like with like an orchestra behind you, and at some point you just have to kind of let go of that.
So are the expectations different being a female in the business versus being a guy?
What was it? Was it?
Are the what different?
Like expectations, or does the audience?
Oh, here's the thing. Wait, there's a moment that comes to mind when a guy, I think we were playing Flies High or something, and a guy comes up to us afterwards. And he's like, I saw you guys on stage, and I was going to watch because you look good, but damn, you surprised me. I thought it was going to be two little girls up there, like squeaking. That's sort of what you got.
Yeah, there is a different expectation. Like people, I mean, it's just like,
I feel like they're always surprised. Like that's the thing.
As bad as this sounds, it's like in a way, like it's still like a man's world, you know, like, and part of like, acts like, strong female fronted acts should turn that upside down, you know.
I mean, it kind of seems like almost like the music industry is, at least as far as the actual music, is really dominated by women nowadays. I mean, as far as like definitely like, whether it's like the pop stuff or world of singer-songwriters, even some of the rappers now.
There's definitely like a lot stronger female presence, I think, than in the past. But
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that you do get like it's different expectations and it's different like it's a different experience. You know.
I don't think it's like a matter of not being liked. I think you have to work a little bit harder to be respected, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Absolutely.
But I think I mean, at least locally, I think we've done okay so far. You know, I hope nobody looks down on us. But if they do, we'll write a song for them. But yeah.
The crowds here are tough to please anyway.
They really are. I'm glad you said that. They really are. It's all about where's the cheapest drink and maybe not so much where's the best live music. That was something I had to adjust to when I moved here. Johnson City was all about like, you know, it didn't matter if you weren't that good, you were gonna have an audience and they were gonna like support you and make sure that you got good.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think it's kind of changing though. I mean,
I think so too.
I've seen a difference, like because I've been
Definitely
I've been playing around town for a while now, you know, and I do think that Jacksonville is, you know, getting like a bigger interest and like respect for like local music and like a true interest in that, and I think like bands like Grandpa's Cough Medicine, you know, and venues like Underbelly, where like the focus really is on the performer. I think that you know, the people that are behind those, you know, projects have really made a big push to kind of make some changes happen.
Right.
And I think that's great, and I hope to see like more of that, and I expect that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely has changed. You're right about that. Yeah.
Do you have any pre-performance rituals? Any habits?
We probably should. Like we wouldn't even warm up our voices, which is
Yeah.
terrible.
Some folks are very specific. Like they have.
Maybe
I mean, I don't think we have like the luxury of that because our typical like show is like get off work, like rush to the venue,
Yeah.
like make it happen. So you know, we're like at the point where we're like hitting the grind to like make to do what we love and still like survive. You know, so maybe one day we'll have like
I personally,
time.
I personally like to have all of us together. Like whenever we did the Underbelly show recently, we all hung out back and just had a beer for a second and just talked. I feel like it loosens us up a little bit, you know, just to everybody has a few laughs and like we're ready. But that normally
Just have a little bit of time, like apart
just
from
spend with
everything.
each other.
Yeah, that's definitely
absolutely.
true.
Yeah, we love our boys. We really do.
Can the music business be frustrating sometimes?
No, not at all.
Definitely, like everything, you know, that's worth doing.
Have you ever
You know?
have you ever smashed anything?
Oh, I smash them constantly.
I saw some broken glass in her house recently. Most of the equipment isn't mine, so I
I try to not
smash
smash
things.
anything that's too valuable, but
Yeah.
Right.
sometimes you just gotta get it out.
Nah, I don't think we're. I don't know. We don't break stuff. Break stuff. We write songs about breaking stuff. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but you're right. Like anything that's worth doing, there's gonna be like, you know, trials.
What can like the venues and the fans and stuff in this town do to make it a more conducive environment for musicians?
I mean, I think, you know, the fans is just like be supportive, you know, show up, come out, spread the word. I mean, it's so easy to do that now. It's so easy to click and like share like a song that you enjoy or like a performance that you want to attend. And for anybody that has interest in seeing like, you know, local music grow and prosper and more of like a culture in our city, like that's such an easy way to be a part of that, whether you're a musician or you're a supporter of it or, you know, a fan or whatever. And then for the venues, I think, you know,
and a lot of places have actually done this, but I would say sound. You know, making sure that you have someone who's capable of like, who knows their soundboard, you know what I mean? And who can get up there and who's going to try to make sure that you sound the best so they can make you sound.
Yes.
And I've noticed recently, like, you know, there's, you know, for the most part, they've done that.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I like I don't know, I keep going back to Underbelly, but like I see a real difference like with, you know, Cameron and Emily just kind of like going above and beyond like their support. Like you really feel like they support you as a musician,
right.
and they support the scene rather than, and I mean, of course, at the end of the day, like you want your venue to be successful financially, but like if you want to be like a long-term player and you really want to see things move, you know, you have to like offer that support, and I think, you know, a lot of venues are really moving more towards that.
See you, Brad.
For sure.
Have a good one.
Bye, y'all. So that's our 2 cents on what the venues and the fans should do.
What are your vocal ranges like?
This is funny. You have good questions.
We both have about a 3-octave, 2 to 4 note range, and they're like kind of sitting right next to each other.
Right.
So, you know,
She can hit like a
I'm a
few
pretty
notes
high
higher.
soprano. I'm pretty high soprano voice where like the natural timbre of her voice sits, and then Sandy's range is like an alto range, but it works out pretty well.
I think that's why we always say this, you know, that's why we harmonize so well, is because our range is almost identical. You know, she's just a little bit higher and a little bit lower. So.
Yeah.
Is there a trick to creating like effective harmonies?
Practice and practice and practice,
Right.
and
Knowing
trial and
songs.
error, and you know, recording it and listening back to it and trying something different, and vocal lessons. So yeah, I mean, it's hard, you know, to there's an organic nature that you never want to lose, and it's important to tap into that. But then there's technique and, you know, technical knowledge that is irreplaceable, that you have to constantly, you know, fine tune and, you know, pursue.
And for me, it's funny because I never knew anything about harmony until I met her. And then after I heard her voice, after singing with her for like a year, I could start listening to her sing, and I just like knew her voice, so I could find harmony, even though I had no idea what I was doing. Like I can hear it, so I know that I'm doing it right. Well, it's kind of how I learned to harmonize. You know, just like listening to her and trying to get it, finally getting it. But it really is like a lot of singing all the time, you know, with anything on the radio, just trying to harmonize.
So the harmony is just like almost like a parlor game.
Yeah.
No, I think, you know, you can put anything under a microscope and you can get it, you know, tighter and tighter and tighter. And I mean, I think that's the difference between, I mean, you can have a really good band and like the songwriting, I mean, you can write an awesome song and you can be like out of key, and that's just gonna like distract from it. So it's combining that organic nature and that creativity with the skill, you know,
absolutely.
and pursuing that to really get the point across, you know. I mean, you can write great music, but at the end of the day, if you don't work to like fine tune your craft, you're gonna misrepresent like yourself and your like goals.
Yeah, it's like being an athlete. You know, you have to stay sharp. You know, even if you'll be the best in the world, but you still got to get out there and play every Sunday. You know?
Sure. So yeah, it's a lot of practice, a lot of slowing it down, you know. But we really enjoy it. That's sort of our bonding moment, I guess, is when we get to harmonize. It's just fun.
Yeah,
we get excited. Even still, we still get like super excited about like, you know.
You have to kind of combine like the excitement and like the fun of the experience with like the discipline to make it, you know, strong and tight.
Tell me a bit about the name of the band, Canary In the Coalmine. Like, and we know that we're familiar with the phrase. Like, how does that relate to the sound?
Sandy came up with the name, and I think, like, you know, it started with the imagery, and I think that imagery is a huge part of what we do. And it's a tool and kind of like just a method of creating this atmosphere and this experience. And I think there are different ways that, you know, you can read it. Like, you know, the canary in the coal mine. Like, you know, we say like, as long as the canary's still singing, you know you're okay. But it's also like, you know, this like little bright bird in this like dark setting. There's something like that's like hopeful and defeating at the same time about it, and I feel like that's like, you know, like really like the point of Canary is that's the experience of life. You know, it's difficult, and there are like really beautiful parts of it, and like no matter how like dark things get or how hopeless they seem, if you can like learn to recognize and communicate the beauty in each moment, then you're doing all right.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I thought that the imagery is just what suited our sound, like it just. And I kind of sat on that name since I was like younger. I feel like I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, wow, that would be like such a great band name. It was so cool, I thought. And then when we met, I was like, oh God, I forgot about this. Like this is perfect for our sound and what we're doing and where we want to go. And I think it's kind of timeless too. So.
How old are you two?
I'm 28 and I always have to think about that because I forget.
I'm 21 and I never have to think about it because I always remember. Cheer. Yeah.
Let's see. Have you started thinking about like what you're going to call the album or some of the artwork?
Well, we're sort of dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
We did have some ideas when we were in the studio. Nothing really set in stone. Right now we're just trying to like align everything, and make sure that we can put everything in order. It will go smoothly, hopefully, so we're trying not to put the
For me, I have like the hardest time, and I mean, like I can only speak for myself because this is my brain, but like I have the hardest time with like matching like something visual. Like it's just not in me, so that's something that's, like me, I'm like, I have no idea like visual art. But we've tossed around stuff and like tried out some different like logos and things like that. But that's all that's still like in the works. We don't really have any clear.
We bet people on it.
As musicians, how much time do you have to spend dealing with just business related stuff?
That's
never before like we started recording an album.
That's the most frustrating part, I think, because there's a lot. I mean, you go through your phase of like writing songs where it's all creativity and it's all just like output, and then you make a product, and then you're trying to figure out all the details and specifics, and you're trying to like, it's two totally different like machines, and sometimes the like business part of it can like be like almost a downer, because you're like, oh, I want to keep writing, but it takes both to make it work, because you want to connect with people, you want to get your music out there, and you have to do more than just like write it and perform it, you have to like work at it.
Yeah, which is something not a lot of musicians aren't able or willing to do. Like some of the most talented artists too. Some of the most talented people I know just don't put their stuff out there. They're very shy, and they have to
tough.
be prodded to get stuff done.
Yeah, it can be hard because like you can have somebody that's super talented but just doesn't have that,
I mean, it's a lot of work to like jump into the business side of it.
You have to teach yourself. You have to take a lot of like initiative and like just you have to like train yourself to know how to be good at it.
Yeah.
When the time comes to like crack the whip, which one of you does it?
Right, she cracks the whip. Can't you tell?
So you're a good cop, she's bad cop.
I mean, pretty
I'm
much.
dumb cop, she's smart cop. Let's just call it what it is.
You're trying to reason with
She has years
them.
of experience on me, and she's a businesswoman. I'm just gonna stick with selling chicken and whiskey.
You're trying to reason with them, and then she just hits them with a phone book.
No, I mean, I am extremely fortunate to have come into this with someone like Jessica who already has business experience, because I would be walked all over, like that sounds wonderful, let's do it, and here's my soul. But I definitely got lucky with her, and even with our boys, because they all have.
They've been around the block.
Yes, they all have amazing experience, and so. Yeah, she cracks the whip, but so does everyone else. So and that's what we're working on right now. That's what we're
cracking the whip.
Yeah, making sure that we're getting exactly what we want, and that nothing is being compromised.
Absolutely.
So telling yourself you're worth it. Your plate commercial.
Your plate.
I'll take a picture. You guys.
Of us?
Yeah. This random thing. Because if I put the audio up on the YouTube or something, I want like a picture to kind of.
Oh, Jesus. Should we slap me like that?
No.
Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3.
Pictures are awkward.
I know. Yeah, there you go.
We always make that face.
That's funny.
We gotta work on our posture.
What's the cover at the show?
$5.
Cover? All right. Let's see.
And it's paying for all of our gas.
Let's see.
Starts at 9. Yeah.
And it's you guys, then them?
Yes. So that's what we decided on.
Right.
9 Canary, 10 for the Dakotas.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's about everything. Unless anything you guys would like to add to the shout-outs, contact. How do people contact you and book the band and things like that?
Probably our Facebook would be the
Yeah,
best
our
way to do
Facebook,
that.
or our email, which is canaryinthecoalminejacks@gmail.com.
Yeah, it'd be good to put Facebook on there, I guess. Well, shout-outs.
Alright, well, we got it all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shelton.
Oh, yeah.